Thank you, Lee. A look at Canada's starting lineup here. A couple of changes. One actually important to talk about. Isabelle Morneau is into the lineup.
Isabelle Morneau hasn't played a full international match in a year, but she is a solid defender. She's great 1v1, and she's one of the most athletic players on this team, so watch for her on that left defensive position.
Canada going back to a 4-3-3 for this game. Now for Japan, two key players, Otani and Sawa.
Hamare Sawa plays professionally in the WWC with Charmaine Hooper. Watch for her to create most chances and Otani to finish them.
Okay, well, it should be a dandy. Canada ranked 12th in the world. Japan ranked 14th in the world. Canada 1-2-2 all-time against Japan. They drew against Japan in the last World Cup. 1-1 was the final score, and it's all on the line now. One team goes on, one goes home. Japan, however, only need a draw out of this game. Canada must win it in order to go to the quarterfinals in Portland, Oregon next week. Canada with three strikers for this game. Sinclair, Latham, and Lang will play up front. Japan coming down the right side now. And here is number 10, one of the key players, that's Sawa. Terence Swiatek getting the second straight start in goal for Canada. Evan Pelleroux told me before the game that he's happy with either LeBlanc or Swiatek, but he just has a gut feeling that Swiatek will come through big time for him today. Here's Brittany Timko, who has moved up to her more natural midfield position with Morneau into the lineup. Eiji Ueda, the head coach of Japan, a very happy man after their opening win over Argentina. Not so happy when they were hammered by Germany. 3-0 was the final in that game, but Germany was much the better team. Free kick here. Nonan sends it in.
Looked like a little bit of miscommunication on the Canadian side. They were all moving out. If you watch Japan, they're actually playing the offside trap on that play. So watch for that to happen. If Canada plays it smart, they'll have their strikers moving out with the defense and their midfielders moving in for the cross. That's the only way you can play against that offside trap.
Timko sends it back to Tanya Dennis. Timko again. Once again, she has moved into midfield to allow Isabelle Morneau to play as a defender here in this game, and Andrea Neal is back into the lineup in midfield as well, along with Diana Matheson. Neal coming back after a bit of a hamstring problem, but obviously not severe enough to prevent her from playing today.
And I think that's a good move, bringing Brittany Timko into the midfield. That's one area that Canada has been lacking. They haven't been winning balls in the midfield. And, you know, it's good to see her there. Good to see Andrea Neal. She is the strongest player in the air for Canada. So watch the midfield to be considerably stronger in this match.
That ball is cleared by Himori Isozaki for Japan. Helen, there's important aspects to this game that Canada is to be successful.
Well, definitely. They have to pressure the ball. That is Canada's strength, is creating errors defensively for the opposing team, controlling the midfield. We just talked about that. Evan Pelleroux has changed that midfield. And then, as well, solid defending. Japan likes to get in behind the defenders. They move very quickly. Watch for those flank players to make those runs up the wings. Canada has to be aware of those flank players and not let them get in behind.
Evan Pelleroux says he's been spending most of his time this week working on his team's emotional state rather than tactics and strategy for this game, because he knows the skill is there and he knows that his players know what to do, but for some reason, whatever it is, a fragile emotional state has crept its way into this team, and it'll be interesting to see if they can snap out of it today. Maybe a change of venue will help. They're wearing white for the first time instead of red, so
anything to change.
We're looking for anything for a good luck sign here. Japan moving forward now. This is number 16, Yamamoto, down the left side, through for Sawa. Sawa in deep, trying to get the cross in front. She does, but Charmaine Hooper is there to clear. Yamamoto. Again, Hooper is there. And Swiatek comes out to clear up. Once again, Charmaine Hooper, the central defender on that back line, along with Charolta Nonan and Tanya Dennis. They've been there throughout the tournament, and today joined by Isabelle Morneau. Isabelle Morneau third on this starting 11 for all-time caps for Canada. She's a veteran, 58 caps, but she's been injured, a shoulder injury. She hasn't started a game in a year. However, she has come on as a substitute in several games off and on over the course of the last year. Christine Latham there with 2 goals against Argentina. There's Morneau,
And Jerry, we talked about Morneau prior to this game. We were discussing how sharp she looked in practice. And you know, even though she hasn't played in a lot of matches this year, she's a veteran. She's great defensively. She's great in the air. She's one of the hardest to play against 1v1. So I think it's a great decision. We actually thought this is what Evan might do in this game. And you know, good to see her out there. I think she'll be a big asset to this Canadian side.
Free kick swung into the box, and out comes the Japanese keeper. That's Nozomi Yamago. There's Morneau sending it right back in there quickly. Chasing it is Ozaki, but she'll let it go. And Japan will move out here.
Jerry, you were talking about the team really not playing together, playing as individuals. That's something not only Evan has taken notice of, but the team. Andrea Neal and Charmaine Hooper have been holding meetings every day with the team, trying to figure out what's going on, what's wrong, and they're trying to, you know, create some sort of unity so that they play. You can see it on the field when they're not playing together. It's all an issue with team unity, and let's see what happens today. They've been holding meetings, like we said, and apparently they've resolved a lot of the issues.
That was Otani, number 11. Watch for her. She scored that hat trick against Argentina. Ball in deep for Japan, sent into the box. Andrea Neal has come back to help clean it up.
And be aware of Kawakami on that right-hand side. She's a quick, speedy little player.
Here's her hat trick against Argentina, and these were great goals, each and every one of them.
She scored the fastest hat trick in World Cup history. Women's World Cup history. So
these goals came within 8 minutes of each other late in the game to basically salt it away for Japan. 6-0 the final over Argentina. Japanese defender moving forward there to prevent Canada from getting in behind.
And that's been a problem with Canada in the previous two games. You saw there, Cara Lang was actually waiting behind the Japanese defender. She's got to move in front of that defender to win possession of the ball.
This is Izazaki. Back to Yumi Obe. Obe sends it down. Here's Japan, and the flag is up. That's clearly offside there on that play.
And there's another issue of the Japanese forwards and midfielders trying to get in behind the Canadian defense. Good job by the defense to get that offside call, but we've seen it a couple times. Homari Sawa made a run down the left-hand side, got in behind the Canadian defense. They have to be aware, and they have to be aware of the right flank for Japan. Number 7 makes runs all the way from defense up, and she's probably one of the fastest players on the pitch right now.
This is Sherolton Nonan. Headed forward by Cara Lang. Andrea Neal is way up there as well. Cleared by Japan.
And Andrea Neal already showing her dominance in the air, winning 3 or 4 head balls in a row.
Well, Canada will clearly expect to get those crosses over and win balls in the air. Here we go with Latham, trying to set it up for Sinclair, couldn't do it, and it's cleared by Izazaki.
And it looked like the call was against Latham, but it just looked like their legs got tangled in that last call. Not sure if it was a foul either way, but Latham gets the call.
Morneau, good in the air, heading that one forward. Knocked by the Japanese player Sakai. Quickly put back in play by Morneau. Diana Matheson knocks it forward for Sinclair. Back is Obe.
Called for a handball. Christine Latham looked like she just put her hand out for that one.
Just to recap, Canada opened with a 4-1 loss to Germany. The loss was expected, although Canada was perhaps hoping that they could do better. And then they got set for Argentina, really expecting it to pour it on in case goal differential became crucial down the road. They were unable to do so. In fact, it was a rather dismal performance by all accounts. Canada winning 3-0. And so they find themselves in a situation here where they must beat Japan to move on.
And like you said, Jerry, this was expected, so it's nothing new. Canada knew they had to win 2 games. Argentina and Japan were the 2 teams they had to meet and they had to beat, and we'll see what happens today. They look a lot sharper so far in this first half.
Sinclair and Latham working together against Izazaki. Latham's ball doesn't get into the middle to Sinclair. Here comes Japan with Sawa. Deep into the corner. That was good work by Charmaine Hooper coming back.
And you know, you just can't say enough about Charmaine Hooper being put into that defensive role just prior to the World Cup, and she has adapted tremendously. She knows this Japanese team very well. She played in the Japanese Pro League for a few years, and you know, she knows how to play against them. She knows Homare Sawa very well. She plays with her in the Atlanta Beat.
Once again, Isabel Morneau coming in to clear it up there. Headed back by Izazaki. That ball is headed down by Dennis as she comes up to intercept. Knocks it back down into the middle. Knocked away by Yamagishi. This is Yamamoto. Yamagishi. Christine Latham chests it down. Matheson. Too far for Sinclair.
And still, Canada seems to be forcing those balls, creating unforced errors, just knocking them up. You know, when you're playing balls forward, you tend to want to play them into the direction of a player, and they're just getting rid of it. Hopefully that's just nerves at the beginning of the game, but it would be better. Even the strikers need to make runs out when players have the ball into the flank positions.
Number 6 is Kobayashi. Matheson has it. Dennis clears. Dennis again. Sinclair heading it for Lang. Lang tangled up with the defender. Play on. Timko can't keep it in play. But they do look sharper, don't they? A little more aggressive on the ball. They're not standing around as much as they seem to do in the game against Argentina.
Well, in the last game, they almost looked afraid to call for the ball. You saw the midfield. I mean, I don't even remember Christina Kiss in that last game because she was never on the ball. And, you know, you get nervous, and usually that comes out after the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game. But that whole game against Argentina, Canada looked afraid. And, you know, they've dealt with some team unity issues, and it looks like it's worked because they're playing considerably with more aggression and as a team today.
Christina Kiss not in the lineup today. The 3 midfielders once again are Neal, Timko, and Matheson. Japanese player down. And that's the one they can't afford to lose. That's Homare Sawa.
And here's a look at the last play. Charmaine Hooper going in hard against Homare Sawa. And that's an important player for Japan. And Charmaine speaks a little bit of Japanese.
Well, she played in Japan.
That's right, and she learned the language as she played there.
Now, we talked about Andrea Neal and her holding a team meeting. This was before practice yesterday, and we had not seen this happen before, but she got everybody together and quietly gave them an inspirational speech. The message was, look inside yourself and come out with a positive result against Japan.
Count on 3, 1, 2, 3!
We've been talking about it all week and all game, and Neal, one of the quiet leaders on this team, along with Charmaine Hooper, and that was something we had not seen them do at all in training in this World Cup, is get together and talk about things, and that's what they did yesterday, and we'll see if it pays dividends. Lang can't get to that one as it's cleared. Back comes Sherolta Nonan.
Good job.
Into the middle, Sinclair heads it on for Hooper, who has moved up. Hooper with a shot. Just off the post, and Lang can't keep it in play. Hooper moving way up on that play.
And you know, she is such an important player. It's too bad there's not 2 Charmaine Hoopers on this Canadian side, because you need her up front and you need her behind, and that's why. She's incredible goal scorer, top goal scorer for Canada, top goal scorer for a team in the Atlanta Beat, the WWC. Such an important player, but what do you do when she's your best defender, Jerry?
Well, we joked about, I guess you play her at defense and you play her forward in the same game, and she just has to run back and forth on the field. Here's Latham trying to find Sinclair, nearly worked, and it's cleared by Tomoe Sakai. Here's Hooper moving up again. Latham now to Lang. Here's Lang's cross. Keeper comes way out, punches it away. There's Kawakami clearing it the rest of the way, but it looks as though Charmaine Hooper is determined to take control of this game, judging by the way she's moving up here at strategic times.
You know, people were questioning whether or not she'd even be playing in this World Cup because they had so many strong strikers, but you know, Charmaine always seems to bring her game up for the important games, and she's doing it in this whole tournament. She has been by far Canada's best player in the first 2 matches, and she's proving herself again here. She is the leader on this team, and she leads by example. She's not a really player that gets out there and talks to her team and motivates her team by yelling at them. She's more of a quiet motivator and just plays the game.
Keeper Yamago sends it downfield. Ball is out.
Actually, I think a foul was called against Andrea Neal. It looks like Canada's going to get a free kick. Oh no, it was a throw-in.
Here's Izazaki. Japan was very good when they had the ball in their last game against Germany when they were beaten, but we noticed that when they didn't have the ball, they laid back, and that's where they paid the price. Strong technical team, good passing skills. They've made a mistake here, though. Sinclair can't get it into the middle. Both Lang and Latham were waiting there for it. Morneau sends it back in. Latham tries to tip it back to Timko, but it's intercepted by Tomomi Miyamoto. Cleared there by Kawakami. Canada looking much sharper here today. Much of the play has been in the Japanese end.
And you know, Sinclair, such an amazing player, hasn't played her best lately. That last play, if we look at it, she actually, good job defending and winning possession of this ball. She just takes one too many touches and allows the defender to close that angle down. She should have touched it on her second touch. She should have got it across.
Encouraging play here from Canada through the first 15 minutes. Still no score.
Christine Latham got called for a foul there. But definitely Canada a lot sharper so far.
Ball sent downfield. Hooper with the header. That ball sent wide by the Japanese player without looking at all. And Japan perhaps feeling a little under pressure. Here's Dennis. Lang. Back is Yamagishi. Lang takes it from her and then loses out eventually. Here's Matheson with it. Into the middle, there's Latham. Latham with a shot. Unable to get a strong shot away, and it was right at the keeper Yamago. But encouraging play here from Canada offensively.
Well, they're already showing that they're playing as a team. They're not playing as individuals, and that's making a big difference. And an important player so far this game has been Isabelle Morneau. She's done great back there. Her first full game, starting game back for the national team since, I think it was September 26th. Yeah. Against Australia, and she scored 2 goals in that game.
Morneau has it now. For Sinclair. Tried to flick it onto Latham a little too far, and out comes Yamago. That ball's right to Timko. Canada applying all kinds of pressure here in this game. Timko now with a run down the right side. The cross. There's Latham with the header. Just off the post. Brittany Timko with a fine run down the right side, and Latham unable to quite finish it.
And watch Timko, she made a great run down that right-hand side, took advantage of the space. Latham got up, perfect header on that, just past the post, but what an encouraging play. Timko is making a big, helping out the midfield, making those runs up, and that's going to be a big advantage to Canada. They needed some strength in the midfield.
Sinclair has found Latham. Here's Latham with a flick, and it's over the bar. The ball bouncing at the wrong time, and she felt she had no choice, I guess, but to give it a little flick, and couldn't get it down.
Evan Pellard looks considerably more calm in this game than he did in the last game against Argentina. Probably happier that his team's performing up to their standards.
They have played well. Here's Yamago. Dennis going up against Sawa, who's limping there. I don't know if it was a result from an earlier collision or just that attempted header against Dennis. Yamagishi into the middle. Obe. Japan still under pressure. Sakai sends it wide to Kawakami. Downfield for Kobayashi. Kobayashi now with room. This looks dangerous for Japan. Nonen comes over into the box. There's a shot and a goal! Japan has opened the scoring. a great start for Canada, and then a counterattack here, and Japan has struck suddenly.
And that's unfortunate for this Canadian side, but watch this run. Gets by Charmaine Hooper. Doesn't happen very often to get by her. And a nice ball across. None of the Canadian players there. And Homari Sawa on that far post. She's not going to make a mistake. She's one of the best players in the world.
So Sawa in the 20th minute has Japan ahead. Another look at it right there as Canada coming close at the other end while we're in replay. So that's a shame for Canada. They started so well, had played 19 minutes of great football, and now find themselves down. That was the first offensive thrust at all that Japan had in this game, and they have the lead out of it.
And that all started by an error by Isabelle Morneau. She's coming up that left-hand side, going to mark that flank player, and this is where they're dangerous. Tried to deflect it, doesn't get a touch on it. Charmaine Hooper dives into that one. And lots of space here for Japan. And Homari Sawa on that far post, nobody marking her. It's unfortunate for Isabelle Morneau. She was doing so well. One mistake, and they take advantage. And that's Japan. They take advantage of errors, and they're very quick moving on the counterattack.
Well, we've talked about the emotional state of Canada. Now we'll see what happens now that they're down a goal, because they've had trouble when they're playing poorly with their confidence and their ability to bounce back from adversity.
Well, there's a lot of time left in this game, and judging by the first 20 minutes, Canada is completely dominating and could have had 1 or 2 goals themselves. So hopefully they won't get 2 down and they just continue playing their game.
Now that's the question. Can they continue to play that game? We'll see what kind of an effect it's had on them. Nonan's ball. Here's Lang in deep. Lang's cross, no problem for Yamago.
And Yamago is short. You'd think there'd be a Canadian attacker right there challenging for those balls.
The other game in Group C underway simultaneously with this one. That's Germany and Argentina. Maren Meinert, one of their top players, has scored for Germany. It's 1-0 over Argentina in that game. Cross coming through from Yamamoto. And there's a wayward ball there.
Okay, ball.
Head coach for Japan obviously pleased with what he has seen. He might not have been through the first 15 minutes or so, but what a difference a goal makes. Here's Swiatek. Neal trying to head it forward for Sinclair. Neal has to go and chase Kobayashi. The ball's in deep for Otani against Morneau. Good work by Morneau. Sinclair, or pardon me, Latham trying to flick it onto Sinclair. That doesn't work.
And unfortunately what's happening is when those balls get played into the strikers, they're knocking them towards the Japanese net, but there's only Japanese defenders behind them, so there's really not a lot they can do unless they get it to their body and they bring the ball down, control it, and knock it off to a midfielder.
Timko. Again, Latham trying to head it forward. Back goes Izazaki. Neal gets it in play for Latham. Latham can't handle it.
And again, it's these unforced errors that Canada shouldn't be creating. They should just play the ball to their body. Don't lose possession of the ball, especially on throw-ins. It's one area that you shouldn't lose possession.
Timko sends it in. Nobody coming down with it. Lang had a bit of an opportunity, couldn't keep possession. Matheson moves up. Timko then, who plays with reckless abandon, and she did so there against Kobayashi. And that's a foul.
And you know, this is what I like about Timko. She just goes in hard for everything, but that was definitely a foul.
Gorgeous day at Foxborough, Massachusetts. Temperature in the mid-20s. Here's Dennis. Lang. Not much room along the sideline. Gets by one, however. Under pressure from 2 players. and wins the foul. Caroline might have thought about passing before getting closed down, but it's worked out okay.
Well, we see her running down. Like you said, Jerry, there wasn't a lot of space here. I'm surprised she didn't try to knock it in right there. She had a little bit of space in between those defenders, cuts it across, got the call. A little surprised that she got the call.
Up steps Charmaine Hooper. Canada packing players in front. There are 4 of them there. Neal has moved up. Latham is there. Sinclair is there. Now Matheson comes up to join Lang. Morneau is way out at the far side. Hooper swings it in smartly. Morneau steps up with a shot. No problem for Yamago. Otani is the only Japanese player up for that, and Hooper gets rid of it. Sliding tackle by Sinclair. Here's Sakai. Knocked away there by Nonan.
And again, Nonan just knocking it without a purpose, not knocking it to a player, just knocking it straight into the Japanese defense.
Yamamoto. Timko comes back, takes it from her. Timko goes down, no foul. Bodies flying everywhere here, and finally Latham with a foul, that time on Miyamoto.
I'm surprised there weren't a couple others called right before that.
This is Yasuyo Yamagishi. That's in there deep and dangerous. Swiatek, though, comes out to beat everybody to it.
You know, it's amazing. Terrence Swiatek hasn't played that many games, but she is always so confident when she's under her post, and she comes out great for crosses. She's solid getting that ball out of the air.
Latham sends it back to Timko. Timko's ball, and at the other end, no problem for Yamago.
And those crosses have to go either a little bit deeper or to the near post. That position in the middle of the net is exactly where the keeper's going to come out and grab those.
Headed forward by Kobayashi and then knocked back the other way. That's Izozaki with the header. Here's Kawakami. Naoko Kawakami still with it. Here's Miyamoto. Nonan steps up to give it to Latham. Latham holding the ball up, waiting for some help, and then gets taken down.
You know, if Latham would have just taken a look to her right, she would have saw Cara Lang making a run down the left-hand side. It's almost as if this team is playing with their heads down at times. They're not seeing those players making those runs. Cara Lang was making a great run down that left-hand side, and she had no opponent, no Japanese opponent with her.
So here's Nonan. Everybody going up. Here's Hooper. Second opportunity. Couldn't quite get it over Yamago.
And Charmaine Hooper getting a little cheeky on that second touch. A great first effort here. Gets the ball there. And you see her, she tries to actually pop it over the goalkeeper. We didn't see it there, but she actually tried to just pop it over top of the goalkeeper instead of blasting it. And she probably could have hit it with a little more pace and would have had a better chance. And we're going to look at this one more time. And we see this, Charmaine Hooper, first effort, and then she just tries to pop it. Maybe if she put a little more pace on it and kept it low, it would have been a better effort.
Well, there's no doubt Canada is better in the air than Japan, and they have to take advantage of that and keep trying these plays, and hopefully something good will come from it. Here's Morneau. Into the middle, Latham. Not sure what Latham was trying to do there, and Japan recover.
Again, we're seeing that the Canadian strikers getting the ball, but there's no midfield coming close to to get possession of that ball after the striker has it.
Here's Sinclair. Latham was going the other way. Cleared by Sakai. Now it's Kobayashi. Neal hustling to get back. So was Lang. All the way back to Izozaki, then to Sakai. Obe. Izazaki. Japan with good possession here now. This is the game they played so successfully against Argentina. Tore them apart 6-0. Timko. Dennis for Latham, who goes down. Yamagishi has it. Miyamoto.
And again, Latham should have kept running towards the ball. She tried to turn with the defender on her, and that's probably not the best thing to do. She can gain possession of it first and then try to get an attack together with the midfield. She had no chance, even if she turned. She had 2 defenders behind her.
Suzaki. Morneau couldn't get there, but Hooper was back to cover. Kawakami will put it back in. Sakai. Sliding tackle there by Timko. Japan still in possession. Yamagishi. Nonan cuts that out for Dennis. Hooper. Latham with an opportunity here perhaps against Yamagishi. Latham still chasing it. Gets it across, but it's cut out easily. Sakai. Ahead for Sawa. Here's Kobayashi. Otani. Otani down the left side, watched by Nonan. Cuts to the middle, headed by Hooper. And then cleared by Nonan. Sinclair couldn't come down with that. Nonan lets it go for Swiatek.
And you know, speaking of Sinclair, Jerry, she's been one player that's really hasn't shown much in this tournament so far. She's been quiet. You haven't seen her gain possession. She's been hiding behind defenders, hesitant to move forward, and I'm a little disappointed in her play so far. I really hope she picks it up in this game.
Latham's ball in for Sinclair. Sinclair running out of options here. Lays it back to Latham. For Dennis. Into the middle. Nothing doing there, and it's cleared by Sakai to her teammate Yamagishi.
And there were no Canadians running in for that cross by Tanya Dennis. It was a nice cross, but no Canadians in position to try and win possession of that ball. If players are going to get into position to win those crosses, they're going to have better opportunities.
Miyamoto. Stepping up is Nonan. And that's too far for Yamamoto.
Charlotte Nonan limping after that last play.
She has her right leg bandaged because she's been suffering through a leg injury as well, and it looks as though she's grabbing her shin right now. Let's go down to Lee Godfrey. Lee.
Jerry, we're up in the club level with Isabelle Morneau's parents and Claude Morneau. It must have been quite a surprise to you to find out that your daughter was starting today.
Yeah, she was surprised too, and we were very happy about it.
Talk about the fact that she's been around with the team for a while. This is probably her last chance at a World Cup, and watching her out here today play.
Yeah, it's really something to be here and see how the team is doing now. And we hope that we'll have a good game, and we'll be.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Morneau.
There's Morneau sending one in, and Lang wasn't quite in position for that, and the keeper, Yamago, has it. Long ball sent all the way down, and Swiatek at the other end gets it. Here's Nonan. Looking for Latham. Yamagishi is there. Japan passing it around nicely now. And there's the breakaway pass, and it's a wide open net. That's for Kobayashi, and she misses the net.
Taryn Swiatek coming out on that one. Really, I'm not sure if that was the best choice for her to make. Charmaine Hooper was making that run back, and she was going to catch up with her, and nobody in the post. Canada's just lucky that Japan didn't score on that last play. You know, Jerry, I'm noticing that before this tournament started, Canada's strength were their strikers, and now I think that their strikers aren't performing up to what they should be performing. Christine Latham just keeps turning into defenders and trying to beat three at a time. Cara Lang is doing the same thing. Christine Sinclair hasn't even showed up.
Well, in the lead up to this tournament, the whole talk was about how would Evan Pellerud get all his strikers into the game, because he was going to have to find a way somehow, because he had so many quality strikers. Well, as it turns out, that they're not getting the performance up front. Here's Sinclair. In for Latham, trying to get around. Defender scores!
And that was...
It's a goal.
It's a goal.
Looked for a minute as though the referee was calling a foul there, but no, it's a goal. Canada have equalized with Christine Latham.
And maybe we just need to talk about the strikers to get them going, because right before that we were saying how they haven't performed. Christine Latham just gets a foot in on this one, and a beautiful finish over top of the keeper. Give credit to Christine Sinclair on that. Puts a nice ball through, just pops that over top of the keeper. Watch this turn, just pops it through, splits the defenders, and Latham just gets a foot on it. That's a tough goal to score for Latham.
You'd almost think Sinclair and Latham have been hearing us up here talking about their lack of performance, and bingo, it's 1-1. And for a moment, it was hard to tell if the referee, with the way she was pointing, was awarding a, calling a foul against Latham or signaling a goal.
And Latham was even confused. If you
think
looked at
she
Latham's
was.
face, she was in awe. She didn't know if it was a goal or if it was a foul.
Well, and her teammates were walking over to her a little bit tentatively and unsure themselves until they finally realized, and then the celebration was underway. So it's Latham in the 36th minute, and it's 1-1. Canada right back in the thick of it here.
And that's an important goal for Canada to get in the first half. Tie the game up. Hopefully they can pop one other in, but at least they go into halftime not under a goal. At least they're tied. They can come out that second half as strong as they came out the first half.
Less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. Corner kick to Japan upcoming here. This will be Emi Yamamoto taking it. Short corner. The cross. Matheson is there, so is Lang. They're bobbling it around a little bit, and then Lang just gets rid of it.
A little confusion back there. Matheson and Lang not sure which one was going to try and kick that ball out. Evan Pellerud's got to be happy that Canada's tied the score up. They deserve to. They've had the better chances in this game so far.
Foul to Canada there. Japan taking their time here with this free kick. In a pretty good position. Canada with a mini wall of Morneau and Sinclair. Everybody else packed in front of the net. Free kick turns out to be a pass. Cross to the far post. Too far. Japan still with it. Yamagishi. She sends her cross in. Goes to the far side. Kawakami chasing it down. Keeping it in play. Sinclair is on her. And Sinclair commits the foul.
Sinclair called on that one, but I thought she got a foot on the ball.
Well, we've seen that so many times, haven't we? A player does get the ball and the foul is called anyway. So Japan now threatening a little bit here. Same play almost exactly over again. This time it's a full cross. And Canada lucky there. Nonen able to deflect that. It'll be another corner kick.
And if we look at Sinclair on that last play, she actually ran over to the player too slowly. She almost had an opportunity to go at the same pace as the player and try and win possession of the ball, but I guess on that play it looks like she was.
Was a good foul.
She did
was a
commit
good
the foul,
rather. Yep.
Yeah.
I got one here behind. One here, second foul.
Ball sent into the box. There's a header from Sawa. Pardon me, it was Sawa, and it was right at Swiatek. So Amari Sawa coming reasonably close there. Now it's Latham, the goal scorer for Canada. Back to Dennis.
Go back.
Dennis doesn't see anything up front she likes, so she sends it back to Swiatek. They'll start again with Nonen.
And that was a good decision. There was nothing up front. It was all blue, so good decision to move that one backwards and try and push players forward.
Timko knocks it into the middle, hoping for something good to happen. It doesn't. Nonan heads it forward. Timko now has found Latham. Back for Timko. Here's Timko wide to Lang. Sinclair in front of the net. There's the cross for Sinclair, too high.
There has to be one player coming in late on those crosses. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be the midfielder or the striker. I would think it's got to be the midfielder coming in late. Sinclair coming in a little bit earlier coming towards the near post, but one player has to come in far post, and that would have been a great opportunity for Canada if there was a player coming in late.
Timko. For Sinclair, it was behind her, cleared by Sawa. Knocked in by Hooper.
And on that last player, the strikers are just standing. Sinclair is just standing, not even challenging.
Neal. Back to Morneau for Matheson. Matheson into the middle, but it's right at Miyamoto. Miyamoto goes wide to Kawakami. And it's back to Izazaki. Miyamoto. That ball is for Otani, trying to get behind Morneau, but Morneau is there, under a little pressure in the corner. Gets it up nicely to Andrea Neal.
Wow, that was a great defensive play by Isabelle Morneau. Got around her player and ended up giving possession to her own, passing it to her own player instead of just kicking it forward. She's playing like a player that's played all year long.
Nonan for Lang. Lang loses out to Yamagishi. In for Otani. But there's Charmaine Hooper, says not this time. Hooper is fouled by Kobayashi.
And I've been seeing Charmaine Hooper moving forward a lot more in the last game, and she does such a good job. She's actually probably going for the foul on that play. She knows the only option for the defender on that is to foul her, and she gets the call.
So you know that Nonan will be swinging this in, and they'll be going up in the air to try and get to it and beat their smaller Japanese counterparts. Here it comes. Nonan a little off target.
Nonan should have hit that one far post. There was about 5 Canadian players lined up on that far side, hit it too near, and the goalkeeper had no problem coming out and cleaning that one up.
That ball is out of bounds. Here's Dennis. Latham heads it forward. The other score from this group, Bettina Wiegmann and Brigitte Prinz have scored. It's now 3-0 Germany over Argentina. Germany expected to win that game easily. The champions of Group C. They will play the runner-up in Group D. The second place finisher here will play the winner of Group D. And the final Group D games will not take place until tomorrow night. That's in Portland, Oregon.
And I think the biggest difference for this Canadian side has been the midfield, and more specifically, Brittany Timko in the midfield.
Yep, Timko has come on and made a difference here. Latham with pressure, and it goes back to Yamagishi into the middle to Obe. Kawakami trying to get by Neal.
Brittany Timko rated the second best recruit going to university this year, and she's going to the University of Nebraska. She's made an incredible difference in the midfield for Canada.
Timko sends it forward. This is Izozaki. Sakai. Hooper for Latham. Brings it down and lays it back to Dennis. Dennis into the middle, nowhere near anybody in white. Here's Yamamoto. Still has it. Trying to get around Tanya Dennis. Dennis, though, does well. Ball still available, and Dennis is the one who clears it. Latham trying to hold it up against Yamagishi. Matheson's ball. Headed nicely by Obe. This is Sakai. Izazaki.
Again, we're seeing a big space between the Canadian strikers and their midfield. They need to close that space down when they attack.
Ball in deep goes to Swiatek. Morneau. Morneau into the middle for Latham, who tries to flick it to Sinclair.
You know, it's almost impossible to get those balls to the strikers, and then basically it's Latham and Sinclair against 3 defenders, but they're playing even with each other. There's nobody behind them so they can knock the ball back and get some crosses in. They're playing as strikers and as midfielders, but not together as a team.
Don't forget at the halftime, there's what you'll see. Should be interesting to hear what Pellerud has to say. After dominating, then giving up the early goal, then equalizing. There's a Japanese cross, might go for a corner kick, but Swiatek gets to it in time.
Swiatek has been solid in the back, very confident, plays with such experience, but she doesn't have very much, and looks good for Canada for the future.
Here's Miyamoto. Sawa. And looking to threaten here in injury time in the first half. Kawakami. Morneau is on her. Kawakami still with it. Through the legs of Morneau. Neal clears it. And over comes the referee.
Looks like there's going to be a foul called against Isabelle Morneau on that last play.
Foul,
and a yellow card.
Foul to Isabelle Morneau from referee Soo-Jin Choi of Korea.
And here we take a look at that. She just held her position on that. That's not a yellow card. You can maybe call a foul, but it's not a yellow card.
So a free kick here could very well be the last gasp of the first half. And it's a poor free kick, fortunately for Canada. And there is the halftime whistle. So an interesting first half. It looked great for Canada in the early going as they dominated through the first 19 minutes. Pellerud must have been thinking we're in great shape. And then Japan countered and struck for the first goal. It did not deflate Canada and Charmaine Hooper, however, as they came back through Christine Latham to make the score after 45 minutes. Japan won and Canada won. Well, he would probably like to get one more from that young lady right there, Christine Latham, who seems to me the most dangerous player up front right now.
I think she's the one that is definitely working the hardest, but Christine Sinclair looks a little lethargic out there. You see her, she's one step behind. She's not anticipating like she normally does, so I hope the second half she really picks up her game because she is a key player for Canada.
Well, she missed most of the summer due to a bout with mononucleosis, and she lost some weight. Now, she said that by around Labor Day, she was right back to 100%, but she still is lighter than she was before mononucleosis, so I wonder if she's still feeling some lingering effects from that now that she's involved in a heavy competition here.
And her first game back wasn't until August 16th against Ghana, so she hasn't played that long with the national team since then, so you know, she might just be not as fit as the other players. And, you know, for the most part, the keys to the game, Canada's done well. They've pressured the ball. They've created a lot of errors. The midfield, no doubt about it. Brittany Timko, big difference in there. And defensively, give credit to Isabelle Morneau on that left-hand side. She has done a tremendous job coming in after not having played for so long, being out for almost an entire year with a shoulder injury.
All right, we are back and underway here at Foxborough. 45 minutes to go. Will this be Canada's last 45 minutes in the World Cup, or will they score at least one and go on to bigger and better things? It comes down to this, the next 45 minutes. Here's Lang with it for Timko. Ian Bridge said it simple, we just have to get a goal. I hope Japan does not. Kobayashi. Still has it. There's Otani. Trying to get around Hooper. Hooper still with it. Hooper, well, she got it out, but it ended up going right to a Japanese player.
Let's see how strong Charmaine Hooper is. She just pushes the other players off the ball with her shoulder.
Japan still looking for something here. And then it's cleared by Dennis. Sinclair with it. Lang on the dead run. Yamagishi is back, however, and just knocks it out of harm's way.
Nice ball by Christine Sinclair there. Gets in behind the defenders. Lang matched pace per pace by the Japanese defender.
Sinclair back for Lang. Lang's cross. A little higher than she wanted. Sinclair's there. It scores!
It's a foul.
It's a foul.
It's a foul. Anytime you touch a goalkeeper on a cross, it's going to be called. There's no way they would allow that to go through.
Latham and the goalkeeper Yamago up simultaneously, and here's the result.
Well, and you got to know that Canada is so strong in the air, and this is the problem, that this goalkeeper is tiny. Latham did a great job running up and getting that ball, but anytime you collide with the goalkeeper, it's going to be called, and it's always going to go the goalkeeper's way.
Visions of the go-ahead goal for Canada there, but snuffed out by contact with the keeper. And so it's still 1-1. Here's Dennis.
Fake by Dennis to let that ball go over the touchline. And here's another look at that. Christine Latham times it perfectly. If it would have been a player she collided with, it would have been fine, but because it was the keeper.
Latham apparently has found her way with those 2 goals against Argentina, and now 1 goal here and another one called back. Lang can't get it across.
And Lang's got to adjust her strategy a little bit. She's got a defender that matches her with pace. And when you've got a defender that can match you, you just can't try to go by them with pace. You've got to just knock the ball. She's got to knock the ball back into the midfield. Let the midfield get the crosses in. She's not beating that defender.
Corner kick for Canada. This is Hooper up to take it. Keeper out again, punches this one away, and then it's cleared by Sakai. Knocked right back in again by Morneau, trying to catch everybody off guard. Smart play there by Morneau.
Great play by Morneau, and look at the pace she had on that ball.
And it went off a Japanese player, so once again it's a corner kick for Canada. This time Brittany Timko will take it. Here's the corner from Timko. It's a good score! Sinclair has found the net here in the World Cup, her first goal since the first game.
And you know, that's a big Sinclair. You'll notice you don't see her for the whole game, but it's that one important goal that she'll get. She did it today. She comes through when she needs to. She scores goals. She's a natural goal scorer. And you know, I've seen her playing games where you don't see her the whole game, but then she scores a goal. And what great timing. This is exactly what Canada has to really take advantage of, is their height. Sinclair is taller than all of these Japanese players. You put that ball in perfectly. Don't allow the goalkeeper an opportunity to come up by placing it well, and you're going to score goals all the time.
Christine Sinclair in the 49th minute. Canada 2, Japan 1. Hooper trying to let that ball go. It won't make it across the end line. Lays it off to Nonan, who clears. Here's Latham. Coming back to help out for Japan, Kawakami. Now it's Izazaki for Obe. Knocked forward by Yamagishi. Kobayashi. Nonan. Head for Sinclair. Neal. Latham.
Latham needs some help. There's nobody helping her.
Tried to nutmeg Sakai there, wasn't able to do it.
But on that play, Latham was looking for a midfielder to show for the ball, and she had no players coming towards her. Sinclair wasn't showing up front. None of the midfielders were showing. I'm also noticing Andrea Neal. She seems to be limping at times, so I'm wondering if that pull, she pulled her hamstring. You watch her at times, she's not pushing herself, she's not sprinting.
Here's Latham. Tries to get it through to Sinclair. Sinclair and the Japanese captain, Obe. In front for Lang, in the box, Lang shoots over the net!
Jerry, you just can't miss opportunities like that.
The best one Lang has had in this World Cup
And a nice ball across. Christine Sinclair does a great job. A good turn by Cara Lang, but she's right in front of the net. She did not need to push that one and hit it so high over the net. She leaned back, she got a little too excited, and that's the problem. Cara Lang is all power. She's got to learn to keep that power down a little sometimes when it's not needed.
Japanese defender may be a little fortunate too, because she was on the verge of tugging on Lang's jersey in the box and got away with it. Hooper back, so is Nonan on the one player, Kobayashi. And here's Nonan with room, so instead of shooting it, she takes a couple of steps with it.
And that's a smart move by Charolta Nonan. She has space. That's something Canada has to realize. When they have space, they should take it. Let their forwards get into position. Let their midfield get into position.
Japan very dangerous on the counterattack. They're a very smooth passing team, precision-like passing. Canada seem to have them off their game here right now.
Come on,
and I've mentioned off the top how good Isabelle Morneau was at 1v1 defending and not giving her player much space, and she did it right there.
Neal against Kawakami. Sawa has it. Into the middle for Miyamoto. It goes back to Miyamoto. Japan bringing it to Canada just a little bit here right now. Ball sent into the box. Goes wide of everybody. Sawa, that time in close. Morneau defending. And so Swiatek will take the goal kick here.
And Morneau, as we said, playing a great defensive role in her first full match back with the Canadian squad. Look at how strong she is 1v1. She just gets a foot in, and that's all you need to do. You just need to get a foot in, get the ball out, and she does that probably better than any other defender. She doesn't let her player have space.
Japan making a substitution here right now. Into the game is number 9, Eriko Arakawa, and coming out is Yayoi Kobayashi. So Arakawa into this game for Japan. And they're on the attack now. In front of the net is Arakawa and Otani. Hooper stepping up.
Great interception by Charmaine Hooper. She anticipated that one.
And she had Sinclair going the wrong way, and so the ball is turned over to Japan. Knocked in by Kawakami. Matheson can't do anything with that. It's flicked forward by Sakai. Here's Sawa against Dennis. Lays it off. The cross. Too far for the substitute Arakawa. Japan has not quilted after falling down a goal. They have come right back at Canada.
And watch this, when the cross goes in, we see the ball go across. Andrea Neal, that's 2 times in a row. She's on that far post and her player is ahead of her. They've got to adjust that. Andrea Neal can't be going in with the player. She doesn't have that much pace. She's great in the air, but her player is beating her to that far post, and that could be very dangerous for Canada.
Neal that time with the header. And it ends up allowing Sinclair to knock it forward to Lang, being chased by Yamagishi. And Yamagishi has no choice but to knock it out. Canada 2, Japan 1. Canada wins, they're in the quarterfinals. A draw or a loss, they're out, Japan moves on.
I tell you, if they would have scored that, Lang would have scored that goal, they would have been breathing a little easier.
Matheson into the box. Sinclair is there. And if not for an unlucky bounce, she might have had an opportunity to either drill one into the corner or knock it in front to Latham, but it's Kawakami knocking it out instead. And so Canada will keep the pressure on here.
And look how many defenders Japan has back to Canada's attackers.
They had everybody packed back except for the 2 strikers, Arakawa and Otani. Timko tried to get it forward, it bounced off Arakawa. Wide for Otani. Streaking down the right side is Kawakami. Kawakami has it. Morneau on her. Good tackle by Morneau. And back comes Latham, but she can't hold the ball in play. And that's not good because she had lots of room down that left flank and instead turns it over.
And Morneau, again, defending very well here, although almost got called for a foul, but Latham, Jerry, she had so much time, there was no reason she had to lose possession of the ball like that.
So that latest attack by Japan fizzles out, and the danger has subsided for now.
And you got to think Evan Pellerud must be happy that Isabelle Morneau has come on and done such a tremendous job, because his biggest weakness right now was his defense. He didn't have players to fit into that position, and she's come on and played like a pro.
Kawakami for Arakawa by Morneau, and here comes Arakawa. Otani and Sawa in front, but her ball into the middle is a bad one, and it's cleared by Dennis. All the way to Sinclair for Latham, but she won't beat Obe to it. Latham trying to let it go out of bounds, won't do it. Tries to get it back to Neal, but there's Kawakami. And she knocks it out, so it's Canada's ball here.
And Jerry, we've been mentioning how Sinclair's not playing up to par, and if you watch her playing, she's actually limping. You know, she's playing those balls forward, but not coming back and not helping out when she plays those balls forward. You got to think she's got to be injured. There's something wrong with her. You see her there, she is limping a little bit. She doesn't look 100%.
Asked Pellerud about her yesterday, and he said, no, she's okay, but there does look to be something going on with Christine Sinclair. However, she's got the goal that matters right now. Kawakami by Neal. Matheson.
And one player we should mention, Diane Matheson, you know, what she's good at is constantly running and constantly putting players under pressure. Her weakness is her ability to play long ball. She doesn't have enough strength. That's something she's going to have to work on in the next year or so. But she's a great player in the sense that she constantly works hard, gives 100%.
Yamagishi's ball to Otani. Nonan is chasing her. Otani's cross behind Arakawa, knocked away by Morneau. And this will be a corner kick for Japan.
And Morneau marking her man very well there.
Japan with Otani in deep. So is Yamagishi, the defender who comes up on corner kicks. And there it is, headed by Sinclair, I think. And then out comes Swiatek. Sinclair has it and knocks it forward. Canadian players were all back, however, and this will be Obe leaving it for her teammate.
You know, on those throw-ins that Japan is throwing in, they look like foul throw-ins. You're not supposed to direct the ball, and every time they throw it in, I think it's going to get called.
Sakai elects to go back to Izazaki. This is Obe. A bad ball for Yamagishi, but they keep it in play. Yamagishi has it. Miyamoto. Silvana Bertini has got off the Canadian bench and is standing there on the sidelines looking as though she's ready to get into the game.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she was going to take off Andrea Neal. She came on that last game and took that left midfield position. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case now. As we said, Andrea Neal is looking like she's limping.
Matheson has it. Diana Matheson into the middle to Sinclair. Sinclair was crowded out and then fouls Sawa, who is not happy about it.
And on that last play, Sinclair didn't have any options. There were, again, no midfielders showing for her behind her.
And here is the substitution, and in fact, it's Christine Latham coming out for Silvana Bertini. A little bit of a surprise, but Latham, I think, is simply out of gas, as Silvana Bertini, the veteran on this team, 34 years old, second most in caps active, and she's from Williams Lake, BC. A police officer in Vancouver, has come on as a substitute in this tournament, has not started a game, and here she is now taking off Latham.
And she's actually playing a defensive role, so it looks like Canada just putting an extra man on that defensive end, playing a little bit more defensively, trying to keep that 2-1 lead.
Well, Bertini is not a natural defender, but she does have great speed, and maybe Pellerud is thinking that he needs that speed tracking back.
Well, what we
against
noticed,
these fast attacks by Japan.
It's been this side of the field that those players are running through. We saw Andrea Neal not being able to keep up, so that's probably what Evan Pellerud is trying to counteract, not allowing that player to come down this right-hand side.
Hooper gives it to Swiatek.
Wasn't a great ball back by Charmaine Hooper. Swiatek just had to kick that one out.
Japan getting set to make a substitution now. Coming out of this game is number 5, Tomoe Sakai. And going into the game, number 17, Mayuki Yanagita. So substitutions for both teams here after a little more than an hour of play.
And I would think that Japan is putting more offensive players on, trying to get the equalizing goal.
That's Yanagita making an impact, or at least getting a touch on the ball right away. Swiatek coming out to beat Otani to that one and quickly sends it to Bertini. Here's Bertini. Knocked out on her by Sawa. So Bertini will put it back in play here. Sinclair. With no room to maneuver. Back to Bertini, and it's out of bounds.
And on that play, Sinclair just didn't have space or anywhere to give it, any player to give it to.
Canada playing a much better game than the first two, but you can still see signs of mistakes that they're making that they hadn't been making during the summer. They're leading this game right now based on guile and guts.
Well, I think coming into this game, it was expected that Japan likes to play those nice, pretty balls. They didn't mind giving them possession in the midfield.
Here's Izozaki. In deep. Trying to get that was Arakawa, who came on a few minutes ago. And they win the corner kick here.
And Charmaine Hooper doing a great job on that. But here is the goal that matters. Christine Sinclair scoring the goal to go up by 1.
So that's where we stand, 2-1 Canada. Corner kick to Japan here, however. Swung in, Swiatek out, is able to get a hand on it, and then Diana Matheson clears it the rest of the way. And the only player back is Obe.
I would hate to think that Canada is content with 1-goal lead because, Jerry, you know what? The last dying minutes, you never know. If Japan scores the tying goal, they have no time to score more goals. I would not be content with just a 1-goal lead. I'd want to move forward and try and score another goal.
Well, their game is scoring goals. It has been for the last year or more. This is a team built for offense. You would like to see another one or two, wouldn't you? But anyway, that's what Pellerud is doing right now. Bertini in as a substitute, playing back with Latham off, and now out of the game. Nonan clears. Sinclair is up there, so is Cara Lang.
Cara Lang is offside. She has to keep her position.
Got to get back, because here's Sinclair trying to work it into a position to get a cross in front, and runs out of room and into too many Japanese players. Here's Kawakami.
And Lang has to be aware of where her defenders are because Sinclair was keeping her head up. I think she realized that Lang was in an offside position, didn't try to cross it, tried to hold on to the ball, and then lost possession.
Yamagishi sends it forward. Lang can't get to that one.
And you get the feeling that Canada's just going to hit it up to Sinclair and Lang and hope that they can muster something up between the two of them.
On the bench, Evan Pellerud has a midfielder, Christina Kiss. He's also got another midfielder in Carmelina Moscato to bring on, and a striker, Rianne Wilkinson. Japan looking dangerous on attack. This is Yanagita. Morneau clears. Sinclair comes back to try and help out. Now she's looking for Lang offside.
She's got to keep her head up. She was offside by about a yard or two, and she was offside way before Christine Sinclair even touched the ball. She has to keep her head up.
Youthful exuberance from Cara Lang, just 16 years old. Japan now, as this game starts to appear as though it's settling into a game of Japan attacking and Canada clearing, and that's a dangerous one. Here's Miyamoto in the header. It scores!
Called offside.
Offside, no goal.
Canada cannot be content with that 1-goal lead. This is exactly, it's not, they didn't get the goal, but look at how many opportunities Japan has had. And if we see this, the cross comes in, but there's no Canadian player in front of the Japanese attacker. She's wide open. And Canada is lucky that that was called offside.
They've even got the equalizer up on the board. The scoreboard is showing 2-2 right now. They'll have to change that, and they do. It's back to 2-1, but Japan just keeps coming. So this game has definitely settled into something we don't want to see. Here's Hooper now trying to change the tempo. For Lang. Lang, though, quickly loses the ball.
And Lang again turning into her defender.
Bertini lets it go. Out of bounds, so they'll keep possession here. For Neal. Neal chips it ahead. Sinclair elects to let that one go. She has no chance to retrieve it.
And here we take a look at that opportunity by Japan, and that is close. She was offside by a step.
Right call, but
it was the right call, but too close for comfort.
You've seen ones that close get called the other way, too. Obe to the far side, looking for Arakawa. In deep, Swiatek comes out to clear it. Japan coming on, Canada fading here, and there's still more than 20 minutes to go. Again, looking for Arakawa, and again offside. This is a dangerous game Canada is playing right now.
You know, I hate when they play that defensive trap because it just takes one smart play by Japan. It might take their midfielder making that run through instead of the strikers, so they're keeping them off onside. And it's that one play Homari saw. Watch for her to make runs in from behind. Could be very dangerous for Canada. They have to play sharper.
Nonan taking her time here before putting it back in play. Lang misses that header. Kawakami has it. Bertini pressuring her. And Bertini takes it from her. There's Bertini's cross, but unfortunately Sinclair had not moved up.
Nobody was in the middle for that cross, and like you said, Jerry, Sinclair hadn't even moved. She just stood in her position.
Well, maybe she didn't expect Bertini to do so well in the corner, but you have to expect that that ball's going to come out there because that's why you're there. Bertini with the header. Matheson as well. Lang brings it down. Neal for Sinclair.
And look at Sinclair, and look at the rest of the Canadian players. It's her against...
The keeper messes up there, and Sinclair nearly comes through again. Unfortunately, Lang had trailed back a little bit because the ball was laying there, at least momentarily, in the box.
But again, that was an instance where Sinclair was all alone up front. She won possession of the ball. She knocked it back to the 18-yard box, but there were no Canadian players for about 10 yards.
Here's Obe. Bad pass for Yamagishi. Japan just giving it away there. Let's go down to Lee Godfrey now.
Jerry, I'm being surrounded by a bunch of fans that did make the drive down today from Montreal, about a 6-hour drive. They were hopefully coming to here to see the Canadian win the game, and of course they had to do a lot of things to get to this point. A lot of team building the last couple of days. They went bowling, they took in a hockey game, just all the things they needed to do to get their confidence back on track, and so far it looks like it's working.
Thank you, Lee. 2-1 Canada, approaching 70 minutes here in the books. We've seen Canadian teams win nail biters before, and those last 20 minutes are always nail biters, treacherous times, and we're into that mode right now. Two-man wall for Japan. Charmaine Hooper to take this. Neal is into the box, so is Lang. Keeper messes it up. They get away with that one, but the goalkeeper for Japan, Yamago, is very sloppy here in this second half.
Well, she's come out a few times and lost possession of the ball. Andrea Neal going up for that, and that just bouncing right off the keeper. Canada really should take advantage of their height, especially on crosses like that. That's where they're going to be much stronger than Japan.
Neal winning that ball in the air over number 8, Miyamoto. And then the foul on Sinclair, and she is slow to get up.
And it's probably a combination of getting hit there and probably the whole game. She just looked a little bit under par, and we see here she gets the ball, touches it over top of the defender.
Looks like her left knee got a pretty good knock there. Okay, here's Bertini. Back to Nonan. Nonan, her ball goes right off Sawa. Matheson doing a good job to prevent Otani from getting away. Canada nearly breaking through there. Here's Lang now. Turning, Lang will try to get the crossover. And it goes over the keeper, scores! Unexpectedly, Carl Lang has made it 3-1.
Well, I don't think that was meant to be a shot on net, but you know what, Jerry? We'll take it any way we get it. Carl Lang looking for the cross. Keeper, not very tall. We've said that from the beginning. She's a short keeper, and that one goes right over top of her. And you know what? 3-1 makes us a little bit more relaxed. Take a breather, and Pellerud is very happy.
Pellerud plays this game physically on the sidelines, even though he's not in it. He plays a virtual game of his own out there.
He was a little surprised when we told him we had him isolated on a few shots and was a little embarrassed, but I don't think he cares on that one.
I don't think he's even aware of how much he's playing the game in his own mind. At any rate, Carl Lang in the 72nd minute, it's 3-1. Japan, though, coming back, looking to get back to within one. That's Sawa, the dangerous one. Lays it off to the left flank. Back to Sawa. And cleared by Dennis. Sinclair for Lang, back to Sinclair, but Japan intercepted. That's Izozaki to Kawakami. Yanagita is fouled by Matheson. And Japan now will have an opportunity here to at least get some sort of an offensive play underway. Yumi Obe will take this one. That's a good ball in deep. And a save by Swiatek. I think it was drilled right at her. A reflex save by Terence Swiatek off Mio Otani, the woman who had the hat trick against Argentina.
Wow, this was a great cross, but if you look at the far post, there's about 2 or 3 Japanese players that aren't even marked, but credit goes to Terence Swiatek. Look at the Japanese player on that far post. Nobody's marking them. Credit has to go to Terence Swiatek. That was a tremendous save.
Great agility from Terence Swiatek. Pellerud said, as I mentioned earlier, I believe, before the game, that he just had a gut feeling about Terence Swiatek. And maybe that's what he was talking about, because she has come up big here with just over 15 minutes remaining.
And that would have been so deflating for this Canadian side if Japan would have scored. You know Japan would have come out trying to get the tire.
Here's Carl Lang now. Bertini at the far post. Can't get over top of Kawakami. Morneau drills one from well out off the target.
And unfortunately, Bertini, the only player running in on that cross, but a nice cross by Carl Lang. She does a good job to get around and get a good cross in. Far post. And here we look at Carl Lang's goal once again. Goalkeeper to be the responsibility. That was her responsibility.
Here's Lang now. Again, trying to swing one over. Not sure if that was a cross or a hopeful shot at goal, having caught Yamago out of position on that 3-1 goal a few minutes ago. Into the corner for Kawakami. Bertini is back to get rid of it. And it's a corner kick for Japan.
I think it might be a throw-in.
Throw-in, pardon me, for Japan. Morneau clears it for Sinclair. There's Obi. Obi can't bring it down against Lang. Japan have it, however. This is Miyamoto. Back to Yamagishi. In for Arakawa. Diana Matheson comes out to break that up. Japan, though, have it again. Here's Lang for Sinclair. Smart play over to Bertini. Didn't waste that ball.
That's your job.
Bertini trying to hold it up, and they won't get it. Pellerud thinks that's Canada's ball.
And unfortunately, Bertini didn't have anyone really helping her out. No strikers were making that run so that she could put the ball down that left-hand side.
Izozaki to Kawakami. Back into Miyamoto. Christina Kiss, a midfielder, is up and ready to come into this game as a late substitute. Here's Yanagita. Dennis is on her, but Yanagita still has it. Yanagita trying to get it across. Timko comes in to help out. And Japan will now have a corner kick, and Canada will try and get this substitution made. Into the game goes Christina Kiss, and coming out of the game is Andrea Neal. So Kiss, some fresh legs in the midfield, with Neal still being hampered by that hamstring and looking like she's left it all on the field here today.
And she's definitely limping, as you see her coming off the field there. Good decision, bring Christina Kiss in. She's a great player, is playing professionally in Norway, and has done a good job for Canada so far. Probably not as dominant as she was in the games over the summer, in the games prior to the World Cup.
Corner kick, Japan. Deflected right in front, and Swiatek, after bobbling it the first time, quickly recovers.
Swiatek, so much confidence in the net. You can hear her screaming from up here.
Morneau losing out that time against Yamagishi. Japan recovers here with Kawakami. Back to Obe. Into Miyamoto. Kawakami has it. This is Arakawa. Miyamoto. Back to Obe. Way over to the far side. Three players across the back for Japan, and they use all three of them a lot to move that ball back and forth.
And you know, that's not dangerous for Canada. They don't mind them knocking it about the
let
back.
them knock it around back there. Morneau steps up to get that out of there, and then Timko heads it forward. Matheson and Timko then both seem to let it go, and Yanagita recovered for Japan to start another offensive play for them. Dennis tracking back against Yamamoto. Cleared by Nonan.
You know, this Japanese side, I have to say, is probably one of the most, if not the most skillful team in the World Cup. Technically, when you watch them touching the ball, they are one of the nicest teams on the ball. Such a soft touch.
Yanagita sends it into the middle. And then that was a very, not a very wise play there by Yanagita, but she just ran into the Canadian players.
Did you see Isabelle Morneau moving up for that one and getting possession?
Here's Bertini. For Lang. Lang has it. One defender back, that's Izozaki. Lang waiting though, because there's no help up there in the middle, nowhere to send that ball. Kiss comes up. Lang just trying to hold it up and waste time, and doing a very good job of it. Finally, Japan come away with it with Izozaki.
Well, that's an unknown kind of rule. When you're winning by one or two goals, it's the last few minutes of the game, you just want to hold it up in the corner.
Still more than 10 minutes to go, however. Here's Timko with a step up and a run. Brittany Timko has Sinclair in the middle. Timko with a shot, and you can tell they're going high because I think they have an idea that even if the keeper, Yamamoto, goes as high as she can, she still can't get to the bar.
And Brittany Timko, good anticipation to win possession of this ball. Probably takes the ball a little too far to the right, away from the center. Usually when you're moving forward, you want to move centrally. You don't want to move left or right.
Bertini. Kiss heads it for Lang. Lang against Kawakami. Lang bursts her way through the middle. Sinclair to her left. Lang with a shot over the net. That was maybe a little too hopeful for Lang, but she has turned it on here in the last several minutes of this second half.
She sure has. She's done an amazing job trying to really put pressure on the defenders, and you look at her, she's so tired right now. She's been running like crazy. The one thing I would have to say is once she gets used to how much power she has in her kick and starts to, you know, not put as much power in those shots, she's going to be tremendous. She's going to be able to place them.
Izozaki. Obe. Yamagishi. Looking downfield for Arakawa. And Arakawa has it. No one is marking her. Arakawa swings into the middle. Timko closes that down. But away goes Yanagita. Sawa in the middle. Back comes Kiss for Bertini with lots of room. Sinclair. Lang is way offside again. Less than 10 minutes to go. Canada 3, Japan 1. Here's Obe. Far side for Yamagishi. Japan very good when they have the ball, but when they're down by 2, they seem to take a lot of time here to build this attack.
It's a little surprising. When they were down by 1, they seemed to be pushing forward a lot more. Now they're just content passing the ball around.
That time Morneau is fouled by Arakawa.
She does so well just getting herself in front of a player and trying to get a touch on the ball. And she did that right there. She's been doing it all game.
Hooper will take this free kick. Knocking it down is Miyamoto, and here comes Japan. Sawa looking deep for Otani. Otani, though, was just a little too far gone to take an effective shot.
She was definitely a little too far to the left, and Tanya Dennis cut out her angle as well.
Swiatek will no doubt take as much time as she can.
Evan Pellerud, a little eager to keep the score 3-1, telling his players what to do.
The winner of this game will join Germany in the quarterfinals out of this group. Here's Otani, however. Otani gets around. Dennis into the box, cleared away by Kiss to Matheson. Great defensive play there by Christina Kiss. Sinclair heads it on for Lang. Lang can't keep it in play. As I was saying, Germany and the winner of this game advance out of this group to the quarterfinals. Those games will be played in Portland, Oregon on Thursday, and the 2 teams from Group D will join them there, the first and second place teams, and those deciding games won't be played until tomorrow night. So Japan, or pardon me, so Canada, if they win, will go over to Portland and wait and see what happens in those other games. Yamagishi sends it over to the far side.
Sinclair almost got her foot on that.
In deep for Arakawa, trying to get around Hooper. No dice. Hooper now wasting a little time in her own zone and is able to keep that in play. Good work by the veteran Hooper. Timko, though, with a weak ball for Lang, coughing it up.
Timko had a lot of time to turn. She had no players around her. Would have been better off turning and going forward.
Sawa trying to move forward. Canada packed in the back, though. Nonen sends it down.
And you notice that the only striker up front now is Christine Sinclair. Cara Lang has moved back. More of a defensive role for her now.
Otani trying to get by Morneau. Keeping possession for Kawakami. Sawa. Kiss with the tackle there, and the referee overrules the assistant, I believe. No, it'll still be Japanese ball. Canada with another substitution here, as Cara Lang will get her deserved rest. She's played a pretty decent game here for Canada today, especially in the second half, and getting that all-important goal. And now on to the field comes Rianne Wilkinson.
And here's a look at Cara Lang, and you know, this second half she's done tremendously. Gets the ball across, going for a cross, scores a goal, and Evan Pellerud is happy.
There's a ball swung in, cleaned out by Timko as we get back to the live action here now. Is dangerously close in front. Hooper with it, sending it back to Swiatek. So Rianne Wilkinson is into the game. She's a 21-year-old striker from Montreal. 3 goals for Canada. Has played in this World Cup, has started in fact, but Pellerud elected to go with just 3 strikers today, and Wilkinson was the odd man out. She's back in here now, and she has great speed, and that might be countered upon here to thwart any Japanese attacks coming her way. Here's Miyamoto. Far side, under 5 minutes and injury time remaining. Good tackle, but it's a corner kick for Japan.
Canada packing in their defense. Brianne Wilkinson playing a very defensive role right now.
Good corner kick, ball still available, and then cleared by Nonen. Timko, though, misfires a little bit. Then they get it away. Obe to Yanagita. Yanagita sends it into the middle. Flicked on here, Sawa in a great position. She muffed it a little bit, though, and has no choice but to send it back to Yamagishi. Japan coming close here.
Canada has to be aware of those players. Are about 20 yards out, and they can strike from that far out. They have to close those players down, not allow them to strike the ball on net.
Under 4 minutes plus injury time. Palarud on his feet, barking orders. Swiatek putting it in play. Kiss. Trying to flick it over the Japanese defender, Obe, and Obe has to hustle after she's being pressured by Wilkinson. Back to Obe it goes. Canada basically with Sinclair up front. Everybody else is playing as a midfielder or a defender now. Kiss to Bertini. Sinclair gets it through, one defender, but back to recover is Ozazaki, and Sinclair is definitely not well. She's slow to get up here, so she is hurting.
She is hurting and she's struggling. You can just see her. She looks so lethargic. She looks like she's struggling to go to every ball. She's making late decisions.
Japan nearly getting away there, but they were slow to go on that attack, and they will win the free kick here, though, after being fouled. But there's Christine Sinclair. Fortunately for Canada, we're now down to 2 minutes plus injury time. Japan trying to get a substitution into this game. And they will get that accomplished now. Coming into the game is a midfielder, Aya Miyama. And coming out is Yamamoto, number 16. So Yamamoto out, Miyama is in. The clock ticking away. There will be some injury time. We'll try and tell you how much as soon as we find out. There's the kick sent in. Hooper, though, wins the header in the air. Kiss cleans it up. Izazaki. Sinclair chasing, putting pressure on the defenders, making them hurry the ball. Here's Hooper. Japan coming now. Kawakami. Arakawa. Knocked in dangerously, but Hooper makes a great play to recover, and Morneau cleans it up. Inside 1 minute plus injury time.
Hooper has been such an important player for this Canadian side. Watch how many balls she wins in the air. You know, she never used to be that strong in the air. It's only over this last year that she's really honed that skill and developed it.
There will be 2 minutes of injury time added on. We're 30 seconds away from that. So it's 2.5 minutes separating Canada from the quarterfinals in the 2003 World Cup. A Canadian team in the World Cup had never won a World Cup match until Canada defeated Argentina. And a Canadian team obviously has never got out of the first round of a World Cup. Japan running out of time. Dennis clears. Sinclair for Wilkinson. Japan desperately need goals here, but they take plenty of time once they get possession. Now they've got lots of room. Everybody back for Canada except Sinclair. Bertini trying to head that one, but Swiatek is out to prevent a corner kick. Is able to do so, but she's caught out of position. Fortunately for Canada, the ball is waylaid in the corner for an extra few seconds, allowing Swiatek to get back. Here's Miyamoto. Return ball for her. Hooper is back against Miyamoto, and that's a harmless one. We're now into injury time.
And I think Hooper thought that Taryn Swiatek might have been coming out for that last play, but held on to her position, protected the ball so it went out for a goal kick.
Isabelle Morneau. Smart lineup decision by Evan Pelleroux today to get her into the lineup. It has paid off. She's played very well. Sinclair can't get to that one. Kiss does. Kawakami comes out with it for Japan. In deep for Miyama. Pardon me, it's Sawa. Into the middle, and there's Swiatek making a great save in the dying seconds of this game.
Look at this reflex save by Swiatek. Nice ball in by Homare Sawa. Nice little touch, and Swiatek gets an arm on it.
Japan now coming back, running out of time. Here's Kiss. Lots of room. Japan now slowing to a walk here, their players, when they don't have the ball. Kawakami. Canada's prospects look bleak after that victory over Argentina. After the first game against Germany, and then after the second game against Argentina, they look totally demoralized, dejected, and confused, but they have come back with a big victory over Japan, 3-1 in the final, and Canada is off to the quarterfinals in the World Cup. What a gutsy effort by this team today, Helen.
Well, it's good to see that they recovered from their last two games. They didn't play very well. They beat Argentina, but it wasn't a good performance. They played well today. They played as a team, and they left everything on the field.
They held team meetings. They tried to figure out what was wrong with their unity, their confidence. They recovered. They came out here today, did not give a quarter, did not give an inch. Cara Lang played a great game before being subbed. Charmaine Hooper, of course, was dynamite. There's Karina LeBlanc, the backup keeper today. And there's the reaction from Evan Pelleroux. There's the goal that made the difference. Canada wins 3-1. Back with a wrap-up in a minute.